Before we continue with the rest of the video, we could use your help. Click the like button to help spread word about watchJojo animals, and also be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. This dog was dumped at a high-kill shelter, but when he realised he'd been adopted, he freaked out. Benny couldn't know how long he had waited for, but it may have felt like forever, and all around him the other dogs he could hear barking would be taken away and never heard from again. Benny, however, remained exactly where he had been for weeks. Then, one day his cage door opened and someone stepped into his room. Before Benny's visitor arrived, though, his time had been running out, and while the pit bull had ended up in an animal shelter, he would only be able to stay there for a limited period before, sadly, the end came. To be more precise, Benny was taken to the Carson Animal Care Center in Gardner, California, a so-called high-kill shelter. Such facilities typically euthanize residents as well as those who aren't young or healthy enough to be adopted, in order to prevent overcrowding. And understandably, their actions can provoke outrage from animal lovers. Whatever had happened to Benny, though, had made him shy and timid, something which may have put off potential new owners. Indeed, the unfortunate canine may have been overlooked by those who came to the shelter in favour of more outgoing and affectionate dogs. But regardless of the reason for his behaviour, his future looked bleak. Then, on December the 22nd, 2015, a video chronicling Benny's last moments in the shelter was posted to YouTube. The sweet but shy dog had no idea what the future had in store for him, the clip explains, and in the footage the poor animal is seen looking terrified. Apparently Benny had been staying at the shelter for weeks, waiting for a human to call his own, but heartbreakingly the video also revealed that the dog's time was quickly drawing to a close. If he wasn't rescued soon, he would likely be euthanized. All Benny could do was sit and wait for someone to come along and save him. The video goes on. When he did week after week with no success, eventually though, someone walked into Benny's room, and from that day on, his life changed. And while we'll never know whether Benny realised what was about to happen, the YouTube clip shows him appear to be both scared and excited when a human gets closer to him. Indeed, although he is seen keeping low at the person's approach, his tail is nevertheless wagging up a storm. It's almost as if he is afraid to hope for something better than his current situation. In fact, Benny initially backs away from the human and retreats further into his room. He also seems somewhat apprehensive about putting his head through the red leash that is offered to him. Then, however, the shy pit bull appears to recognise what's actually happening to him. Indeed, he eventually lets himself be leashed, and when the door to his room opens, nudges it with his nose. And it's there on the other side that Benny meets his new humans. His patience had paid off after all, it seems. Suddenly, Benny changes. He's no longer the timid dog that was crouching fearfully in his shelter room. In fact, in what may have been the first time for a while, he appears to be happy. And as the video shows, he can barely hold back his delight either. Benny's reaction is heart-melting. In fact, as he literally leaps for joy at his rescue, bouncing and dashing down the corridor to his new life. But despite his glee, the pit bull doesn't bypass the other dogs at the facility who are yet to be adopted. And the YouTube footage shows Benny passing his fellow canines' cages, looking in on them for one last time. Once he is out of the shelter's door, though, seemingly nothing can stop the delighted mutt. In his excitement, he even ends up pulling his leash around one of his new owners, entangling her in the process. Benny's manic reaction is understandable, though. After all, things can hopefully only get better for him from now on. And the video itself shows just how much of a difference adoption can really make to an animal. Furthermore, given how touching the clip is, it's perhaps no surprise that it's gone viral, with over 10 million views to date. And the comments accompanying the upload have also shown that Benny's adoption hit people, as one user says right in the feels. "I still got teary-eyed watching Benny go do the happy puppy dance," one person added in the comments section. "I'm so happy for Benny," another wrote. "I've watched this before, but it was like watching it for the first time all over again. My heart jumped for joy, just like Benny was doing," they concluded. However, for many people, Benny's video rescue is bittersweet. After all, while his adoption was undoubtedly a wonderful thing, there are so many dogs seen still waiting in the animal shelter for their forever homes. and one YouTuber user would go on to write, "It's cool they adopted the dog, but all those other dogs were waiting for a home they may never get." They weren't the only poster who thought something similar either. Many of the other comments were along those lines too. Unfortunately, those words are a sobering reminder of the ultimate fates of animals in high-kill shelters. In the same year as Benny's rescue, for instance, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, euthanized 72% of its shelter cats and dogs in the state of Virginia, and that's just one organization's figures. We can only hope then that Benny's friends were also adopted into loving homes, and the pit bull's reaction also reinforces why it's a good idea to adopt a dog from a shelter rather than buying one. That way, many other animals can find their happy endings too. Please do not forget to share this video with your friends below.